Young and the Restless. Adam's desperate mission to save Victor from Kane's trap. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week see Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, showing up to play hero, and he's all in a lather. There's a surprise guest with deep and treacherous ties to recast Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, and also Holden Novak. Nathan Owens is making some big moves. We're going to talk about Adam racing to save Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. But first, we're going to start with Kane. The return of Kane Ashby. Shocking twist as Aristotle Dumas revealed. So, at the end of this week, Aristotle Dumas finally made himself known, and it is a big deal. As we've been saying right here for quite a while, the mystery tycoon is indeed Kane Ashby. The writing has been on the wall for a while. All the signs pointed there, and they kept trying to, point us in a different direction, but clearly, the signs were there. I'm willing to see how it goes. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he's younger, that he has no Australian accent. Just very much completely unlike Daniel Goddard. But I'm a big fan of Billy Flynn, and Daniel Goddard is on contract over at General Hospital. So, this is what we have. We'll see. I think you guys are going to like Billy Flynn if you've never seen his work before. Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane Ashby returns. Kane insisted on talking to Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, in private first. So his ex-wife didn't find out the same time as everybody else that he is Dumas. And of course, when Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, brought her to Dumas, we saw Lily on edge about why she was being separated from the main group. And of course, seeing Kane after all these years shocks her. He's been gone off the screen 6 years. But surely, you would think they had overlapped while visiting the children, the 2 children they have in common. Maybe not. It's kind of weird. Lily should have gotten occasional updates from her offspring, unless Kane just totally ghosted his firstborn kids, right? So, Lily's livid. She says this all feels deceitful. And Kane is promising that the name is fake, but everything else is him. But still, I doubt he's got a snowball's chance in hell of getting another shot with Lily. At least not right now. So Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, should be golden on that front. What was also irritating is that it was Victor who announced Dumas was Kane, Anyway, all this tension carries over into next week, as we're going to see a little bit unfolding about why he has done this. Chateau party drama, secrets, games, and unexpected guests. So on Monday, a very annoyed Billy Boy Abbott, Jason Thompson, asks, "What the hell is going on here? What's this about?" And that comes right as Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, and Damien and Lily come out of the hedges because she had pulled them aside to warn them Dumas is really her ex-husband Kane. And Lily says she also wants to know what the hell's happening. No more secrets, no more games. But come on, we know there's going to be secrets and games. And then next week, we're going to see more guests arriving at the party at the chateau. Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, arrives along with a few others. She was held up because her and Devin's son Dominic was sick, and Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, and Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman are there. They were invited, but were not expected to show up yet. Here they are. And most importantly, Abby's ex-husband Chancellor, Connor Floyd, arrives with them. So, Michael's saying it looks like they started the party without them. Lauren wants to know what they missed. Yeah, you missed the Kane as Dumas. And then Jack is wondering why Chance is there. Most of the other people are business owners, prominent bigwigs in Genoa City or their plus ones, but Nina Webster's, Trisha Cast, Precious Son, Chance is a cop, not a corporate show-off. And Jack says that Chance being there really stands out. And yeah, I absolutely agree with Jack that it does. Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane's past. But, Chance is Jill's grandson, and he should have rightfully been right there running Chancellor and inheriting it alongside Billy. So, it's basically like that legacy is gone from him. So, after considering it, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, wondering if it's about Kane's ties to Jill, who is Chance's grandma. And Jack reminds people of the ancient history about Kane pretending to be Jill's son way back in the day, which is dubious now that they have aged the actor down by I don't know what, 10 years or so. So, that may be part of it, but it feels like Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, has a better grip on it next week when she thinks Chance being there is about Chancellor Industries. Chance is a chancellor after all, she says. And Billy mentions he's also a cop. I'm not sure why that matters because Chance has no jurisdiction in Fancy Pants France. Intrigue and seduction. Phyllis, Kyle, and Audra's risky game. And then we've got Amanda talking to Kane telling him Victor is a formidable opponent and to not underestimate him. And Kane's telling Amanda he won't. But he also says Victor underestimated Aristotle Dumas and is doing the same with him, as in him being Kane Ashby. And Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, who has been nonstop lurking and eavesdropping and being a general desperate busybody, walks up on them talking. Phyllis is quick to assure Kane she would never underestimate him. Now, if you remember your past, Phyllis and Kane have overlapped during some Newman versus Abbott things. Sometimes they've worked together, sometimes not so much. At one point, if I recall correctly, Kane actually outed Phyllis and let Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, know his wife Red was boinking his brother Billy back when Jack and Phyllis were married. But that has been quite a while ago. Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra Charles gets flirty with Kyle Abbott. And in some troublesome news, Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, gets flirty with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, next week, and it seems to be working. She's making things happen. Audra's handing Kyle her tube of Jabot birthday suit sunscreen, asks him to put it on her. Audra's talking about how she never leaves home without it. You may remember when Jabot first came out with it, Kyle was slathering some on him, and then he dove into the pool at the GCAC and sort of accidentally or not accidentally lost his swim trunks and bared all you know he was wearing just the sunscreen, which is why it's the birthday suit stuff, and that really helped move that product. Plus, both Zuleika Silver and Michael Mueller talk about Audra going too far and having too much fun with Kyle in France. And he talked about seduction and no cell phone service and joked that what happens in nice stays in nice. So, it sounds like something is definitely going to happen with Kyle and Audra in Nice, which good for Audra, she thinks, but it's going to come back around to bite her. I'm quite sure karma is heading in her direction. Betrayal and family secrets. Claire, Holden, and Adam's warning. And there is more trouble for Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle's relationship lurking back in Genoa City, too. She is back from her dad's hospital bedside in Chicago, and Claire runs into Holden at the GCAC drinking bar. Vespers together. Claire seems kind of tired, maybe a little stressed over her dad, but also strangely flirty, and she tells Holden it's her good fortune running into him. Holden tells Claire he's the lucky one. All very interesting, borderline contrived, because there's really no reason that she would be flirting with a guy and no reason that Kyle would be flirting with Audra. But, you know, this is what we've got. We have to live with it. Young and the Restless spoilers. Does Adam already know about Kane? And speaking of hunks that need better storylines, guess who shows up in Italy? Adam apparently goes to great lengths to get onto the train rail car. He is drenched in sweat by the time he arrives. And he made this colossal effort to get to his family to warn his father. So Nick next week is wondering how Adam got up there because everything is closed and Adam says it wasn't easy. He's there to tell Victor something very important he found out about Dumas. So at this point I wonder if Adam already knows it's really Kane. Hopefully that's not what he showed up to say. That could have been done via telegram or something if he couldn't get through on the cell phone. Adam tells Victor he's not going to like this news at all. And I'm wondering if Kane is not only making a move on Chancellor, but also on Newman Media or maybe even Newman Enterprises, Victor's flagship corporation. He got everybody there where there's no cell phone service and invited all of them. So maybe he was trying to create a distraction so that he could pull some kind of takeover stunt while they're all there drinking expensive champagne. We'll see. In Genoa City, where power struggles and betrayals weave an endless web, a shocking turn of events has placed Victor Newman in grave danger, and Adam Newman finds himself at the center of a desperate mission to save his father from an elaborate trap set by none other than Kane Ashby. What began as subtle maneuvering behind closed doors has erupted into a high-stakes chess match that could change the Newman family forever. Adam, known for his cunning intellect and morally gray methods, is pushed to his limits as he races against time to outmaneuver Kane's calculated scheme. Victor has always been the ultimate patriarch, a man who thrives on being in control, but even he didn't see this coming. Kane has been playing the long game, quietly building alliances and setting the stage for a stunning betrayal. Whispers in corporate hallways suggest that Kane has infiltrated Victor's business dealings, using insider information to craft a trap designed to humiliate and financially devastate the Newman empire. For Adam, this isn't just about protecting a father he's had a complicated relationship with. It's about proving himself in a world that has always doubted him. His history with Victor has been turbulent, filled with betrayals, reconciliations, and a shared understanding of ambition. But this time, the stakes are far more personal. Adam senses Kane's moves before others do, catching wind of subtle changes in Victor's business partners and cryptic messages that hint at a brewing storm. His instincts tell him that Kane's motives run deeper than financial gain. Kane has long harbored resentment toward the Newmans, believing they've looked down on him as an outsider. Now, with strategic precision, Kane is poised to strike at Victor's empire when he's most vulnerable. Behind the scenes, Adam launches a covert investigation, pulling together trusted contacts and old allies to uncover Kane's plot. He dives deep into encrypted communications, financial transactions, and even shadowy offshore accounts. What he uncovers is chilling. Kane has orchestrated a fake investment opportunity that will lure Victor into signing a deal with devastating consequences. Once Victor signs, Kane's allies plan to expose forged documents, implicating Victor in a scandal that could ruin his reputation and trigger a hostile corporate takeover. Adam realizes that stopping Kane means more than just alerting Victor. His father's pride could easily dismiss warnings, especially coming from Adam, whose loyalty has often been questioned. So Adam chooses a different path, one that involves playing Kane at his own game. He begins to feed Kane false information, planting seeds of doubt and misdirection in the hopes of making Kane reveal his hand. At the same time, Adam reaches out to key figures within Newman Enterprises, subtly shifting strategies to counter Kane's silent takeover attempt. Each move feels like walking a tightrope. One wrong step could expose Adam's hand too early, giving Kane the upper edge. Meanwhile, Victor remains unaware of just how close danger lurks. He's been distracted by other family issues, including lingering tensions with Nikki and power plays within the Newman children. Kane takes advantage of this distraction, embedding himself further into the fabric of Victor's empire. Adam's desperation grows as he uncovers that Kane has already secured support from an unexpected ally, a powerful investor with a grudge against Victor. This alliance gives Kane the leverage he needs to make his trap nearly airtight. But Adam refuses to back down. He's determined not only to protect Victor but also to prove to everyone, including himself, that he's capable of heroism. The emotional weight of this mission is heavy. Memories flood back of times when Victor doubted him, when Adam rebelled against his father's control, and when their battles nearly destroyed them both. But in this moment, Adam isn't acting out of bitterness. He's acting out of love, complicated as it may be. As the trap tightens, Adam stages an elaborate counterattack. He crafts a scenario that mirrors Kane's plan, creating a decoy deal designed to draw Kane in. With meticulous precision, Adam manipulates Kane's contacts, ensuring that the forged documents Kane intends to use will instead point back to him. He even plants a fake whistleblower inside Newman Enterprises to leak information that Kane will think is genuine. It's a dangerous gamble. If Kane catches on too soon, everything will unravel. As the fateful day approaches when Victor is set to sign the deal, tensions run high. Adam races to finalize his counterplan, working in secrecy to avoid Kane's detection. At the last moment, Kane grows suspicious. He senses that something is off, and his paranoia sets in motion a frantic series of last-minute changes. Adam must think on his feet, adapting his strategy in real time. When Victor arrives for the signing, unaware of the storm brewing around him, Adam intercepts the process, convincing his father to delay. It's a risky move that could easily backfire, especially since Victor doesn't appreciate being second-guessed. But Adam's determination is unwavering. Meanwhile, Kane springs his trap, only to find that the documents he planned to use as leverage now incriminate him. The forged signatures, the fake investment trail, and the financial manipulations all trace back to Kane's network. Adam's plan works like a well-executed checkmate. Kane's allies, realizing they've been set up, begin to panic. In a dramatic twist, Kane finds himself in front of key business leaders. Victor finally understands the gravity of what Adam has done. For the first time in a long while, father and son share a rare moment of mutual respect. Victor acknowledges Adam's intelligence and loyalty, recognizing that without his intervention, Newman Enterprises could have suffered catastrophic damage. Kane, on the other hand, is left scrambling. His reputation takes a devastating blow, and his alliances crumble as partners distance themselves from the failed coup. But Adam isn't celebrating. The ordeal has taken a toll on him emotionally, forcing him to confront his complicated feelings for his father. He's proven his worth, but at what cost? His willingness to use manipulation and deception to outplay Kane raises questions about how different he truly is from the enemies he fights. The aftermath ripples through Genoa City. The business world is abuzz with talk of Kane's downfall and Adam's unexpected heroism. Within the Newman family, dynamics shift. Victor begins to rely more on Adam, opening the door for potential power shifts within the company. But not everyone is pleased. Siblings and rivals eye Adam's growing influence with suspicion, setting the stage for future power struggles. Kane's defeat also leaves a power vacuum in certain corners of the business world, one that others may soon try to exploit. Adam knows this victory is only temporary. In Genoa City, new threats always emerge. But for now, he stands tall, having pulled off one of the most daring saves in Newman history. The desperate mission to protect Victor has not only secured the family empire, but also given Adam a new sense of purpose. Still, shadows linger. Kane is not one to retreat quietly. Rumors swirl that he's already plotting his comeback, gathering new allies and looking for ways to strike again. Adam remains vigilant, aware that his actions have painted a target on his back. Victor, for his part, seems more determined than ever to keep his empire secure, perhaps even grooming Adam for a larger role. This unexpected alliance between father and son could reshape the future of Newman Enterprises and Genoa City itself. In the end, Adam's desperate mission to save Victor was more than just a battle against Kane's trap. It was a defining moment that forced him to confront his own identity, his loyalty, and his place in the Newman legacy. The question now is whether this newfound alliance will last or whether old wounds and rivalries will resurface, threatening to tear everything apart once again. For fans of the young and the restless, this thrilling storyline offers the perfect blend of high-stakes drama, emotional depth, and corporate intrigue. With Kane exposed, Victor humbled, and Adam rising, Genoa City is poised for a new era of power plays and betrayals. In the days following Kane's stunning downfall, Genoa City is buzzing with whispers about the shocking turn of events. Corporate insiders can't stop talking about how close Victor came to losing everything and how Adam, of all people, became the unlikely hero of the Newman Empire. This unexpected twist has not only shifted the power dynamics at Newman Enterprises, but also sent shockwaves through rival companies, political circles, and even the family itself. Everyone is now forced to look at Adam in a new light. For years, Adam has been painted as the black sheep, the unpredictable son with a knack for stirring chaos. But this time, his sharp instincts and bold strategy saved Victor from humiliation and potentially irreversible financial ruin. Victor, known for his iron grip and calculating mind, now finds himself indebted to a son he once struggled to trust. Behind closed doors, Victor reflects on the near catastrophe and the role Adam played in averting it. He's not one to show vulnerability easily, but there's a visible shift in the way he looks at Adam. The suspicion and guarded distance that often defined their relationship have softened, replaced by a new level of respect. This subtle change doesn't go unnoticed by the rest of the Newman family. Victoria, Nick, and the others sense that something is changing, and not everyone is comfortable with it. Victoria, in particular, feels her position being subtly challenged. She's always seen herself as Victor's natural successor, the one most capable of carrying the Newman torch. Watching Adam gain Victor's trust so dramatically rattles her in ways she didn't expect. Meanwhile, Nick remains wary. He's proud of his brother's success, but can't ignore the fact that Adam's methods often walk a fine line between brilliance and danger. As these family dynamics shift, Cain is left to deal with the consequences of his failed scheme. His once carefully constructed alliances begin to crumble one by one. Investors distance themselves, and corporate partners abruptly cut ties to avoid being dragged down with him. Cain tries to spin the story to his advantage, claiming he was set up, but the evidence is too damning. Adam's carefully laid trap exposed every detail of Cain's plot, leaving him with no escape. Cain's humiliation is total, but his spirit is far from broken. Those who know him best understand that Cain doesn't give up easily. In private, he begins plotting his next move, nursing his wounded pride and quietly reaching out to contacts who may help him regain power. He sees Adam not only as the man who destroyed his plan, but as a rival who must be taken down. While Cain stews in the shadows, Adam steps into the spotlight in a way he never has before. Victor begins including him in high-level meetings, entrusting him with sensitive decisions, and even defending him when others question his involvement. This newfound closeness between father and son sets off a ripple effect across Genoa City's power circles. Rivals who once dismissed Adam as a volatile outsider now see him as a major player. Some begin courting him with business propositions, while others quietly strategize on how to neutralize this new threat. Adam, for his part, remains both cautious and ambitious. He understands that his victory has painted a target on his back. The world of Newman Enterprises is a battlefield where alliances shift constantly, and today's hero can become tomorrow's scapegoat in the blink of an eye. Privately, Adam wrestles with the emotional weight of it all. Saving Victor wasn't just about strategy. It forced him to confront deep-seated feelings about his place in the family. He's always wanted Victor's approval, even when he pretended not to care. Now that he has it, he wonders whether he can maintain it, or whether the same old patterns of betrayal and mistrust will resurface. Meanwhile, Genoa City media outlets feast on the drama. Rumors swirl about Cain's impending exile from the corporate scene, and speculation runs wild about Adam's growing role within Newman Enterprises. Some pundits hail him as the future of the company, while others warn that his rise could spark a dangerous power struggle within the Newman family itself. Tensions build behind the scenes as Victoria quietly begins strategizing ways to protect her position. She reaches out to trusted allies within the company, exploring options to counter Adam's growing influence without openly challenging Victor. Nick, ever the voice of reason, reminding everyone that open warfare would only benefit their enemies. But the seeds of rivalry have already been sown, and it's only a matter of time before those tensions erupt. Cain, meanwhile, begins making moves that suggest he isn't finished. Whispers emerge that he's seeking financial backing from an unexpected source, someone with their own score to settle against the Newmans. If Cain succeeds in forming this alliance, the battle Adam thought he won might only be the opening round of a much larger war. Victor remains vigilant but surprisingly calm, perhaps because he finally feels he has an heir who can fight on his level. Watching Adam navigate the corporate minefield with precision gives Victor a sense of pride he hasn't felt in years. He sees in Adam a reflection of his own younger self, sharp, ambitious, unafraid to get his hands dirty when necessary. This recognition sets the stage for what could become one of the most formidable father-son alliances Genoa City has ever seen. Yet even as Victor and Adam grow closer, the family fractures deepen. Jealousies, insecurities, and old wounds bubble beneath the surface, threatening to explode at any moment. Cain's trap may have been foiled, but its aftershocks are far from over. The lines have been drawn. Adam's desperate mission to save Victor didn't just protect the Newman Empire, it reshaped it entirely. As alliances shift and rivalries intensify, the stage is set for a new era of corporate warfare, personal betrayals, and emotional reckonings that will keep Genoa City on edge for months to come. And for Adam, the journey is just beginning. The fallout from Cain's failed scheme continues to ripple through every corner of Genoa City, setting the stage for a turbulent period that could redefine both the Newman legacy and Adam's place within it. In the wake of his daring maneuver to protect Victor, Adam finds himself standing in an unfamiliar spotlight. For years, He's been viewed as the unpredictable Newman, the one capable of brilliance but also destruction. Now, with his father's empire intact because of his quick thinking, Adam becomes both admired and feared by allies and enemies alike. Behind the walls of Newman Enterprises, board members are abuzz. Some praise Adam for his bold, calculated actions, believing he may be the sharp edge the company needs to fend off future threats. Others are far less enthusiastic. Longtime loyalists to Victoria and Nick view Adam's rise as a destabilizing force, a shift that could alter decades of family power structure. Tension fills the air during meetings as subtle glances and whispered conversations reveal fractures that are only growing wider. Victor, meanwhile, seems invigorated. It's not often that he's outplayed, and the near miss with Kane's trap reminded him that even he can be vulnerable. Watching Adam take control, strategize with precision, and ultimately turn Kane's plan against him sparks something deep inside Victor, a recognition that his son may finally be ready to step into a role he's long kept just out of reach. He begins to involve Adam in more decisions, allowing him to sit in on discussions usually reserved for the most trusted inner circle. This shift doesn't go unnoticed by Victoria. She's spent her life preparing to lead Newman Enterprises, enduring Victor's tests and proving herself time and again. The idea that Adam might now be positioned as an equal, or worse, a successor, infuriates her. But she knows better than to confront Victor directly, especially when his loyalty is fresh and unwavering toward the son who just saved him. Instead, Victoria turns to strategy. She begins quietly rallying support among key executives, reinforcing her image as the company's stable, experienced leader. She knows Adam is intelligent, but she also believes his impulsive tendencies could eventually be his downfall. All she has to do is wait for the right moment to let those flaws reveal themselves. Nick takes a more measured approach. He's proud of Adam's success, but remains wary. He's seen how quickly loyalty within the family can shift, how ambition can twist even the best intentions. He serves as a quiet observer, trying to keep the peace between his siblings while maintaining his own stake in the company. Outside the Newman walls, Kane begins working furiously to rebuild his shattered reputation. Though his trap failed spectacularly, he's not one to disappear quietly. He retreats into the shadows, reaching out to powerful contacts who share his disdain for the Newman dynasty. Slowly, he begins piecing together a new plan. This time, he's determined to strike not just at Victor, but at Adam personally. Kane's defeat has left a bruise on his ego that won't fade easily. He wants revenge, and he's willing to align himself with dangerous allies to get it. One such ally emerges in the form of a disgruntled former investor, someone who has a history with the Newmans and a score to settle. Together, they begin laying the groundwork for a comeback that could threaten Adam's newfound position of power. Meanwhile, Adam faces a new kind of challenge: expectations. With Victor now openly relying on him, the pressure is immense. Every decision he makes is scrutinized. Every strategy is judged not only by the board, but by his siblings and rivals. Adam thrives under pressure, but deep down he knows that one misstep could undo everything he's built. He's also aware that Kane is still out there, and that enemies who failed once often come back more dangerous than before. Late nights at the office become the norm as Adam throws himself into work. He reviews every department, tightens security measures, and investigates every external deal for signs of sabotage. He doesn't want to just react to threats. He wants to anticipate them. This relentless focus starts to take a toll on him personally. Old insecurities bubble to the surface. Adam has always struggled to balance his need for approval with his instinct for independence. Victor's praise is intoxicating, but it comes with chains. He worries that if he falters, the old doubts will return, and he'll once again be cast as the outsider. In the midst of all this, Victor observes quietly. He sees both Adam's strengths and his vulnerabilities. In his mind, he's testing Adam in ways that go beyond business strategy. Victor wants to know if his son can truly handle the weight of the Newman Empire, not just in moments of crisis, but in the long, grueling aftermath where power must be maintained. As weeks pass, whispers about Kane's movements begin to surface. Anonymous tips suggest he's been meeting with people who have deep pockets and old grudges. Adam's instincts tell him that this isn't over. He begins discreetly tracking Kane's activities, determined to stay one step ahead. What he doesn't realize is that Kane has learned from his mistakes. This time, he's moving with more caution, building his comeback piece by piece, waiting for Adam to let his guard down. Genoa City watches closely as this power struggle unfolds. Business rivals sense opportunity. Media outlets speculate wildly about Newman's future. Some see Adam's rise as a new golden era. Others predict an inevitable implosion. Inside the Newman family, tensions simmer like a slow-burning fuse, waiting for the right spark to ignite full-blown war. Through it all, Adam stands at the center of the storm. He's tasted power and stepped out of the shadow of his father's dominance. But with that newfound strength comes responsibility and danger unlike anything he's faced before. Kane's trap may have failed, but the game is far from over. In Genoa City, victories are temporary, loyalties are fragile, and every hero eventually faces their reckoning. Adam knows this, and he's ready. But so are his enemies. In the weeks that follow, Genoa City becomes a cauldron of whispers, speculation, and quiet power plays as Adam's star continues to rise within the Newman Empire. His victory over Kane has shifted the entire landscape, turning him from an unpredictable outsider into a formidable player whose moves command attention. Board members study his every decision, media outlets track his appearances, and even longtime rivals begin to wonder if this might be the beginning of a new Newman era. Victor, always a shrewd observer of human behavior, is both proud and cautious. He recognizes that Adam has proven himself capable of protecting the family legacy, but he also knows that the true test of leadership comes not in moments of crisis, but in sustaining control amid shifting alliances and simmering rivalries. He watches his son closely, offering guidance at times, challenging him at others, subtly pushing him to see whether Adam can stand on his own without falling back into old habits of rebellion and impulsiveness. Behind the scenes, Victoria grows increasingly unsettled. For years she's been the steady hand, the one Victor groomed as his natural successor. She weathered corporate storms, family betrayals, and ruthless competitors to solidify her place at the top. Now, in what feels like the blink of an eye, Adam has not only stolen the spotlight but has also gained Victor's open trust, a development she finds both infuriating and threatening. She masks her frustration with polished professionalism, but those closest to her can sense the tension building beneath the surface. She begins holding private meetings with key Newman executives, reinforcing their loyalty to her and subtly positioning herself as the voice of stability in contrast to Adam's unpredictable brilliance. Nick, meanwhile, becomes the quiet mediator. He sees the potential for disaster if the sibling rivalry spirals out of control. While he respects Adam's recent achievements, he can't ignore the pattern of volatility that has defined their family for years. He tries to keep the peace, but even he knows that the situation is a ticking time bomb. Kane, humiliated but far from broken, continues to rebuild his strategy from the shadows. The failure of his trap has only sharpened his resolve. He's now working with greater precision, aligning himself with investors and power players who share his grievances against the Newmans. Slowly, he begins to weave together a network designed not to attack the family directly, but to undermine Adam specifically. Kane understands that Adam thrives in open conflict where he can outthink his enemies. This time, Kane plans to erode Adam's foundation quietly, chipping away at his credibility until the cracks begin to show. He starts with small moves, leaking misleading information through anonymous channels, planting doubts among business partners, and subtly influencing key stakeholders to question Adam's strategies. At first, the effects are barely noticeable, like ripples on a calm surface. But over time, these small manipulations begin to spread. A delayed shipment here, a botched contract there, a key investor suddenly backing out at the last moment. Each incident seems isolated, but together they form a pattern designed to make Adam look careless. Inside Newman Enterprises, murmurs begin to grow louder. A few board members question whether Adam's aggressive style is sustainable. Some whisper that perhaps Victoria's steady leadership was better suited for long-term stability. These doubts, though subtle, begin to reach Victor's ears. He doesn't act immediately, but he files them away, watching Adam even more closely to see how he handles mounting pressure. Adam, unaware of the full extent of Kane's new strategy, throws himself into work, determined to maintain the momentum he's built. He believes the scattered problems are simply the growing pains of a company adjusting to new leadership dynamics. He doesn't yet realize that these issues are being orchestrated with deliberate intent. Meanwhile, Victoria sees an opening. Without directly attacking Adam, she begins subtly amplifying concerns about his recent decisions, positioning herself as a calm alternative. She never openly challenges him in front of Victor, but her strategic conversations with key executives slowly shape a narrative that paints Adam as brilliant but unstable, a risk to the company's future if left unchecked. Nick senses the shift and warns Adam to tread carefully. He tells him to keep an eye on Victoria and to look deeper into the string of business mishaps that seem too coincidental. At first, Adam brushes off his brother's concerns, but as the problems continue to escalate, he begins to suspect there's more going on beneath the surface. Late one night, while reviewing company reports, Adam notices inconsistencies in communication logs tied to an outside vendor, one he recognizes from Kane's earlier dealings. A sense of unease settles over him. Could Kane be pulling strings again, this time in a more subtle, insidious way? He starts digging deeper, enlisting a trusted ally within the company to quietly investigate without raising alarms. The trail leads to a series of anonymous financial transactions and cryptic emails that seem designed to obscure their origin. Adam's instincts flare. He knows Kane's methods well enough to recognize the fingerprints of a carefully constructed scheme. What troubles him more is the timing. Kane has chosen to strike not with a dramatic blow but with a slow, calculated erosion meant to destabilize him from within. As Adam pieces together the puzzle, he realizes that this new threat could be even more dangerous than the original trap. If Kane succeeds in undermining his credibility, Adam could lose not just Victor's trust, but the fragile respect he's earned throughout the company. The pressure intensifies as media outlets begin speculating about internal Newman tensions. Rumors swirl about a possible power struggle between Adam and Victoria, fueled by carefully placed leaks that may trace back to Kane's network. Victor remains composed but observant, testing his children with every move. He wants to see who can rise above the infighting to prove themselves worthy of his legacy. Adam understands that he can't simply react this time. He must get ahead of Kane's shadowy offensive before the damage becomes irreversible. The question is whether he can uncover Kane's full plan quickly enough, or whether the slow unraveling will weaken him before he gets the chance. The war between Adam and Kane has shifted into a new, more dangerous phase, one that threatens not only Adam's power but the delicate balance of the entire war brewing beneath the surface of Genoa City begins to intensify as Adam slowly pieces together the truth. The seemingly random business disruptions, the shifting boardroom loyalties, and the carefully placed rumors all start forming a chillingly clear picture. Kane is back, and this time, he isn't trying to take Newman Enterprises down with a single bold strike. He's dismantling Adam's power brick by brick. It's a patient, insidious strategy, one that thrives in shadows and doubt. Adam realizes he's not just fighting an external enemy, he's also battling internal perception. If he overreacts too soon, he risks appearing paranoid and unstable, giving Victoria and the board more ammunition against him. But if he waits too long, Kane's plan could erode his credibility to the point where even Victor starts questioning his leadership. The stakes couldn't be higher. Late nights turn into sleepless marathons as Adam digs deeper into the anomalies scattered throughout the company's operations. Every missed shipment, every sudden investor withdrawal, every miscommunication is examined with surgical precision. He discovers layers of manipulation, shell companies that trace back to anonymous investors, contracts altered at the last minute, and subtle misinformation fed to the press. It's exactly the kind of elegant sabotage Kane would orchestrate. Adam knows he needs to strike back, but unlike last time, this battle can't be won through a dramatic reveal alone. This requires patience, strategic countermeasures, and careful positioning. He starts quietly building his own network within Newman, identifying the people he can trust and those who may have been swayed by Kane's influence or Victoria's subtle maneuvering. He forms a small, loyal task force tasked with monitoring communication channels, vetting contracts, and tracking suspicious movements. Meanwhile, Victoria's shadow campaign against Adam begins gaining momentum. She never openly criticizes him in front of Victor, but her conversations with executives and board members are designed to plant seeds of doubt. She emphasizes stability, legacy, and responsible leadership, all qualities she subtly contrasts with Adam's aggressive and sometimes unpredictable methods. Her strategy is working. Certain executives start quietly aligning with her vision, believing that a return to her steady leadership might be safer for the company in the long run. Nick, ever the peacekeeper, tries to warn Victoria that this rivalry could spiral out of control, but she remains steadfast. In her mind, she's protecting the company and her rightful place at the top. Kane observes this internal Newman friction with satisfaction. He doesn't have to lift a finger to turn family members against each other. Their own ambition and insecurities are doing the work for him. From his hidden vantage point, he begins to escalate his plan, introducing more sophisticated disruptions. Strategic leaks to the media cause a flurry of negative press for Newman Enterprises. Anonymous whistleblower claims suggest financial mismanagement, sparking whispers of potential investigations. Stock fluctuations follow, eroding confidence in Adam's leadership. Victor watches the growing chaos with his trademark stoicism, testing his children with silence. He doesn't rush to defend Adam publicly, nor does he chastise Victoria for her quiet maneuvering. In classic Victor fashion, he's observing to see who will rise above the storm and prove themselves worthy of his legacy. For Adam, this silence is both motivating and maddening. He knows Victor is watching, and he understands that his father will not intervene unless absolutely necessary. This is his battle to win or lose. As the pressure mounts, Adam's instincts sharpen. He realizes that the key to turning the tide isn't just exposing Kane's involvement. It's doing so in a way that restores confidence in his leadership while neutralizing Victoria's growing influence. He begins laying his own trap, mirroring Kane's slow and deliberate approach. He plants subtle countermeasures into corporate systems, creating breadcrumbs that will eventually lead straight back to Kane's network. He also starts quietly leaking positive stories to trusted media allies, framing recent disruptions as strategic adjustments under his leadership. Gradually, the narrative begins to shift, though not without resistance. At the same time, Adam reaches out to Victoria under the guise of sibling unity. He suggests working together to uncover the source of the company's problems, knowing full well she's been maneuvering behind his back. She agrees to meet, curious about his motives. Their conversation crackles with tension, both aware of the other's strategies, neither willing to back down completely. But Adam plays it carefully, offering just enough sincerity to make her wonder if perhaps Kane's return poses a threat bigger than their rivalry. Meanwhile, Kane grows impatient. His subtle manipulations have weakened Adam's standing, but he craves a more definitive blow. He begins preparing a major financial scandal that, if executed correctly, will implicate Adam directly. This involves forged documents, altered transactions, and a well-timed leak designed to make it appear as though Adam orchestrated a fraudulent deal to cover up internal losses. If the plan succeeds, Adam won't just lose power. He could face legal consequences that would destroy his reputation permanently. Unaware of the full scope of Kane's latest move, Adam continues building his counterattack. He's closer than he realizes to uncovering the core of Kane's operation, but time is running out. The scandal is set to break within weeks, and when it does, the fallout will be massive. Victor senses the shifting winds and becomes more watchful. He doesn't yet know the details, but his instincts tell him that a storm is coming. He begins quietly testing both Adam and Victoria, posing strategic questions, watching their responses, gauging their readiness to lead. Tensions across Newman Enterprises reach a boiling point as loyalties are tested, traps are laid, and reputations hang in the balance. Kane's quiet war is about to erupt into a full-blown corporate battlefield, and Adam stands at the center of it all, preparing for a fight that could define not just his place in the family, but the future of Newman itself.